Okay, throughout our life cycles unit, which is for the next several weeks, we're going to be using this book right here, Explore Life Cycles. Now the best part is that this book is on Epic, so we all have access to it. So I'm just going to read the little bit of introduction here so that we can kind of get familiar with this book. Here is our table of contents. And remember, a table of contents is very helpful for many reasons, which is one of the questions below. I hope you can remember at least 2 reasons why a table of contents is very helpful and useful, why it's a very helpful and useful text feature. All right, introduction. Have you ever planted a garden with your parents? You cover the seeds with soil and water them. A few days later, little green shoots poke out of the ground. Within weeks, the little green shoot transforms into a flower, vegetable, or fruit. Or maybe you once owned a kitten or a puppy. It's amazing how fast they grow from tiny little fur ball into young animal with tons of energy. Before you know it, your kitten or puppy is a full-sized cat or dog. You might also have the sad experience of losing a beloved pet who grew old and died. An endless cycle. Can you remember what it was like when you were younger? You were smaller, sure, and you probably couldn't do many things that you can do now. Maybe you couldn't ride a 2-wheeler yet, or write a thank you card, or climb the monkey bars at the playground. Now, imagine what you'll be like 20 years from now. You'll be an adult. Maybe you'll even have kids of your own. Okay, now here are a couple of words that we are going to need to know through the next several weeks. So our first word is organism. An organism is a living thing such as a plant or animal. The next word we need to know is species. A species is a group of plants or animals that are related and look the same. Okay, so we know that a snail and a chicken are not in the same species. They are not. But we could say that maybe a chicken and a duck are. They're in the same species. They look alike. Okay. Everyone goes through a lot of different stages in their lifetime. All organisms, here's our organisms definition. All organisms grow, change shape, create new life, and die. Then the life cycle begins all over again. Did you know most animal species lay eggs? For every 100 animal species, 3 give birth to live young and 97 lay eggs. That means most things lay eggs. Hey, where did you come from? All organisms begin life in a certain way, but the ways that begin can be very different. Some organisms begin life inside their mothers, others start inside seeds, and some begin inside eggs. It all depends on the species. And here's a cute little cartoon. On your marks, get set, go! They're running and running. It's not just the start of their lives that can be different either. An entire life cycle can also be very different. An adult mayfly may only live 30 minutes, but a quahog, which is a kind of clam, can live about 200 years. That means that a quahog that's alive today was born long before the invention of electricity. The length of individual life cycle stages can differ too. Some organisms grow much faster than others. For example, a human mom grows her baby inside her for 9 months, but an elephant grows her baby for 22 months. A human baby takes about 18 years to reach adulthood, but a puppy takes about 1 year. Here's this little continued of the cartoon. Here I am, world. It's a special moment when new life comes into the world. It might be when you were born, greeted with a big celebration, or it might just be a new little blade of grass that no one notices. But all life is truly an amazing thing. It's what makes our planet special in the entire solar system. The name of the first stage of life depends on the species. For example, humans are babies, dogs are puppies, and plants are seedlings. Many new creatures are completely helpless, like human babies or kittens. Others can stand within an hour of being born, like a baby giraffe. Some newborn creatures are almost completely able to take care of themselves, like a newborn shark. Game on! Before we read this, let's check out some words we might need to know. Forage is our first word, and that means to search for food. Photosynthesis is another very important word, and it means photosynthesis is how plants turn sunlight and water into food to grow. Wow, wouldn't that be nice? We could just turn sunlight into food. We could just play outside all day. The next stage of the life cycle is focused on growing and learning skills. Human babies learn how to control their own arms and legs. Wild animal babies learn how to forage or find food for food and respond to danger. Plants aren't really learning anything at this stage, but they grow stronger as their roots go deeper into the ground and they start getting larger. The big leagues. Adulthood is the next stage of the life cycle. This is where most organisms spend most of their lives. They're fully grown and doing the things they need to do to live their lives. For people, this is when they'll most likely be working, pursuing hobbies, and meeting someone that they want to marry. For animals, this is when they're seeking food and shelter, finding a mate, and not getting eaten themselves. And most plants spend their time doing their job, something called photosynthesis. This is the way they convert sunlight to food. During this stage, organisms usually create new life too. Birds lay eggs, horses have foals, and oak trees drop acorns that become new trees. Wrapping it up. The final stage of the life cycle is when the organism dies. For people, we think of this as something that's really sad. But even though we don't like to think about it, death is a very natural part of the life cycle. And the life cycle itself can never die or end.